Indiana, David. The Wabash River, the George Rogers Clark Memorial, the old cathedral. The weather's distinctly improved, and the citizenry thinks that the Alices of Lincoln High School have also distinctly improved. Their fortunes will do likewise as they enter the Final Four for the second year in a row through the Evansville Semi-State. Now you, David, where'd you get off to?
I'm in the steel capital of Indiana, standing in front of the statue of the founder of the city, Albert H. Gerry. I'll be covering that tough Tullison team, but for action right now, let's switch to Tom Carnegie at Washington. Take it away, Tom.
Well, by golly, Lou Day has to intercept it. That's all right. Whip it around because you got possession now. That's what always happens when you start working out with this Washington Continental team. They're quick and they're fast, and they'll intercept a lot of passes in the state championship. 29-0. 4 years ago, of course, Washington won the state high school basketball tournament. And they got some great stars this year. You've heard a lot about them. They're number one, number two man, George McGinnis and Steve Downing, 6'7" and 6'9", and they're the tallest 6'7" and 6'9" in the state. Speaking of McGinnis, where are you, George? Come on over here. Big G, they call him, and he has an average of over 30 points a ball game. And, of course, the other night in semifinal play against Jack Sandell, you set a new state record. Congratulations, George.
Thanks, Mr. Carnegie.
49 big points. Let's relive the thrill of that moment right now. Well, George, you've already broken the record set by Goose Ligon and Rick Mount of 47 points. What's the next thing you're after? How about
the state championship? Next thing.
Oh, you're not thinking about individual records like Bob.
I think. Well, it's awful nice to break records, but I think I'd rather have a gold ring, and I'm sure the rest of the members of our team feel this way. But we'll be out there trying, and
what he's talking
if all
about
goes right, I'll
right.
get the record, and we'll have the gold rings.
He's talking about the gold state championship rings. Incidentally, who's your hero in collegiate basketball circles?
Oh, I would have to say Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor, okay. That's in pro circles. How about college around here?
I like Mount.
Rick Mount, I thought so. Okay, let's bring the coach in, Bill Green. Thank you very much, George. I know you're going to have a great day Saturday. Bill Green in his first year, an Indianapolis boy, by the way, Manual High School, Indiana Central College. This team seems loose and confident. Are you the same way, Bill?
Well, yes, I believe we're going to win it. If we could just take the human element out of it, I know I'd be sure of it. But, yes, they've been loose all year. I think they've been under pressure from the word go, and they've just learned to live with it. And I've got a philosophy: you shoot it, it goes in. If you don't, you lose. And I think it's sort of rubbed off. And we're going to play our same game, and we're going to shoot as well as we did in one of our regular season games. I'm convinced of it.
Oh, fine. That's good philosophy, Bill Green. Let's talk about your boys. Oh, great Swami. And I think, Cotton, you were chorused. Well, this sign says we've got the number one power. Certainly on Channel 6, we've got the number one basketball attractions tomorrow, the state tournament, and then the NCAA tournament. Yes, I think I'll have to agree with the sign painter at Washington. They do have the number one power, and it remains for them to win the state championship, and I predict they will. That pretty well wraps it up. By the way, one more shot.
This is Abner Nims. He's a sophomore. He's 6'1". He's a real good outside shooter. We're counting on him for a lot the next 2 years. A real fine ball player. Number 12 is Harvey Galbraith. He's a junior. He's about 5'11". He's another guard, and we're counting on him next year, too. Harvey is an excellent outside shooter, and he's sort of a scrambler on defense. Next would be Louis Day, number 24. Louis was a leading scorer in football in the state of Indiana. He's a starting guard for us, a good outside shooter, and a tremendous defensive man. Next is Jim Arnold, 6'3". We call him a forward and a guard. He's definitely our outside shooter. And,
I can see why.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Next is number 20, Wayne Pack. This boy came to us as a senior. He's played 29 games of organized ball, and he made all sectional, all regional, and all semi-state.
And he's getting better every day.
And he's going to be a good college boy. Next is Steve Downing, 42. I'm not going to say too much about him. He's just a tremendous ball player all the way around. Next, Kenny Carter. is he's a substitute for the two big men. He's 6'3". He doesn't look it compared to Donnie McGinnis, but he's got a bad knee. But this boy could play on anybody's ball club in town, I'll guarantee you.
And under the basket where he likes to park
is George McGinnis, our All-American.
Yes, sir, and an all-around good boy. So he's a hard worker individually.
Yes, he is. This is something George wants, and I believe what George wants, he's going to get.
Yes, sir. All right, that introduces the 8 men that you'll be seeing in action in the Final Four on Saturday afternoon. We'll be back after this message. We know about George McGinnis, the basketball player. How about as a student and a member of the school community? Troy Julian, principal.
Tom, George is an unusual young man, a gentleman all the way. When he came to high school, he didn't know what he wanted, wasn't very well disciplined. George makes the honor roll. He hasn't been in the dean's office for 2 years. He cares about things. Barely 18 years old, just past 18 years old. Cares enough, I've seen him cry about some things. And he's got the ability to really be something in the athletic world.
Does he come to school every day? Is that kind of an individual?
I never knew of George McGinnis missing a day school, and he's where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there.
Troy Julian, principal. Now let's talk to the coach, if we can get him away from the team for just a moment. Bill Green. Bill Green of Washington, big problem tomorrow. Marion is a great ball club.
Yes, they are, Tom. They're real tough.
Good height.
Yes, real good height, good ball handlers, good defensive team. Was here last year, proved that they can win, and I think it's going to be a real good show.
Say, their coach Jack Colescott is quite a fellow too, isn't he?
Yes, Jack and I attended the same college, and
that's Indiana Central.
Indiana Central, and when we were playing ball, we used to go up to his dad's restaurant, Gas City, and Colescott's restaurant, and eat. I remember chicken and noodles, and boy, were they good.
Oh man. And you got anything to say to him?
Only thing I can say is I don't see how he can beat a red-headed Irishman on St. Patrick's week.
Okay.
Well, Bill, I've never believed in leprechauns anyway, and we feel that this year we got a pretty good shot at the pot of gold ourselves.
S-T-A-P-E!
Jack, the backbone of your team is comprised of around 7 players. Could you introduce them for us?
Be glad to, Dave. First, we have Dan Gunn. Dan is our starting forward, 6'2", tied for the lead in scoring this year. Joe Suter stands 6'7". Joe is a senior, and he is tied for the lead in scoring this year. Our center is Brent Myers. Brent's a senior, stands 6'7". Next is our starting guard, Gerry Townsend. Gerry's 6'1". This is his third year on the varsity. And last, Javon Price in the starting lineup. Javon is 6'5", a senior. One of our leading reserves, another senior, Ned Rencher, he stands 6'5". And our 7th player, John Chin, a junior, he is 5'11".
Well, you've got a fine ball club there, good balanced size, and most people, at least quite a few coaches throughout Indiana, feel that one way to beat Washington is to ball control the game. Is that what you plan for the Continentals?
Well, we feel that we should try to stay with our game plan that we've used all year. I don't feel that we can make a drastic change at this point because we have been rather successful with what we've been doing, and I think we will try to work for the good percentage shots, but I don't think that we're going to slow the ball down too much.
Zone defense to jam up the middle has been something quite a few opponents have been using against Washington to try to control the two big men underneath. Do you have the same plans?
Well, we haven't played much zone this year either, and I again feel that we should go with our strength against their strength, and we're going to play our defense about the same that we have played against most other opponents during the season.
Who will you put on Downing and McGinnis?
Well, we haven't decided for sure yet. I imagine Brent Myers will start against Downing in the pivot, and possibly Joe Suter or Javon Price against McGinnis.
That'll be a real good battle, number 1, number 2 ranked teams in the state.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's certainly going to be a tremendous struggle, and we know that they're overpowering, but our boys are really looking forward to the contest.
Well, good luck to you, Jack. Now let's take a look at one of the Marion practice sessions.
Beautiful shot, David. Ed McCauley said you couldn't make the 20-footers. He'll never believe a 200-mile field goal, but that's what it was. It came down here in Adams Coliseum in Vincennes, Indiana, home of the Lincoln High School Alices, the third-ranked high school basketball team in the state, 27-0 on the year, and going back to Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis in the Final Four for the second year in a row. Once again this year, perhaps more so than last year, this town's pretty proud of this ball club, as well they should be. And as we found out,
we're going to put out the fire and Gerry. Alice is going to win the state.
There ain't no flats or detours this year. We're going all the way to the state.
The Alices are going to fly high this year, all the way to state.
Nobody can beat our deal. Low mileage and enough power to go all the way to the state.
You better believe the Alice is going all the way. I believe.
Well, this is Tom Turner. He's a 6'3" forward, and he's a real excellent ball handler, real good jumper, and he was our leading scorer during the season with a 21.5 average, I believe, and he bested Memron, I think, by about 0.3 of a point there.
That's a pretty good trick. Speaking of Gerry, he's the next boy. How's his eye doing?
Well, Gerry, I believe that eye is coming along. It's going to be all right. I think he's still got a little swelling in it, as you can see there, and it'll probably be open, and he'll have real good vision by Saturday, we hope.
I don't think you want to take another fall, though, to fire the ball club up.
Very definitely not. But Gerry is our 6'7" pivot man. He weighs about 215 pounds and does a real good job scoring for us, either inside or outside. A good board man is Turner, and
the next man who is
well, that's Mac McCormack
right
there, and he's a 6'2" guard, and Mac has done a real fine job for us for 2 years here, and we're real pleased to have a boy like Mac on the basketball team. He's a good outside shooter, good driver, good ball handler, and he does a real good job of playing defense, too.
I think Randy Bowman and Jay Peters keep moving around to get out a camera shot there.
I believe so. They seem to be a little shy today, don't they? But this is Randy over on the baseline there. He's another 6'3" forward who has come along real strong for us at the end of the season here, and Randy is averaging, I'd say about 15 points a game and 8 or 9, possibly 10 rebounds through tournament play, but he has really come into his own in the last month here. But we always had a real high regard for Randy, and we knew sooner or later, he'd put it all together and get going. And we have no complaints on little Peter's boy either. He's 5'8", very quick, real clever ball handler. Gives you that bit dribbling behind the back and through the legs and all that sort of thing, he can move that basketball, and he is one of our better defensive ball players, and we usually give him the toughest guard to handle, so I imagine he'll be on Henry Good's Saturday.
Now, you had strong material last year. You went to the finals. You're back up there again this year unbeaten. Well, what's the difference this year between last year's ball club?
Well, we think that McCormack and Memron are more mature. I know Gerry is going to the basket much better than he did last year. Mac is stronger physically, and Tom Turner and Randy Bowman have developed with another year's experience, and we had a real fine B squad last year, and fortunately we could reach back and pull up a fine little guard, Jay Peters, to go along with this outfit, plus some adequate bench.
Any words for the Gerry coach, since you lost the Gerry team last year?
I tell you what, we didn't play as well as we thought we could play last year, and we're going to try to avoid that.
Well, the championship is here in Gerry, and we're going to try and see that it stays in Gerry.
What about the top 7? Can you give us a rundown?
Yes, we have the best 1-2 guard punch in the state, and Donnell Beatty, a 5'9" guard. That's the best defensive player I've ever had. He has an 18.3 average in regular season. Then Henry Goods has a 23.5 average in regular season, and he can shoot from all over the court, and he's very good on defense, and that just has to be the best 1-2 guard punch. The person that makes our team go is Vernon Williams, a 6'2.5" forward, and he's also an excellent football player. And when Vernon comes off the boards with that ball and does something with it. And then we have Virgil Togg, another fine ball player who's 6'2", plays forward, center, or guard, and he's just doing an outstanding job. And then we have a real fine center in Mark Baxter, 6'6", and he's just doing a wonderful job on the boards, and scoring-wise, he's shooting 51%. And our super sub, Arthur Stokes, he comes in and he does something right now. I think he had 14 rebounds coming off the bench in one of the games, and he's capable of scoring in double figures and very good defensively. Then our 7th man is either Paul Wise or James Roy. I can call on either one at guard, and very quick, and they really can give the team a boost in a tight pinch.
What about your opinion of your ball club losing one game this year while the other teams haven't lost?
Well, we're definitely the underdog, and if we can continue to win now when it counts, then every team in the state will have lost at least one game.
Have you scouted the other clubs?
Yes, I had John Barato down at Evansville for me, and he's an old friend of Gunnar Wyman's. And, of course, Gunnar sent me a prayer this last week, and it seemed to pull us through in the semi-state, and I hope that prayer continues on to the finals.
What about Washington? You heard a lot about them.
Well, I've seen Washington play twice myself. In fact, I wouldn't be able to go to the finals unless we were in it. I went to the city tournament, and I promised my wife if we couldn't be there, I wouldn't go to any tournaments once Towson lost. So that's the kind of confidence I had in this team, and believe me, I wouldn't have been able to see one game as soon as Towson lost. So I feel very fortunate to be down there.
Well, good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Prediction time 69 for the Final Four, and who else? All year long they've been on top. They're number 1. They've won 29 games, haven't been beaten, hardly been pushed by anybody. They've got Big George and Big Steve and Big Wayne and Big Jim and Big Louie and a lot of other people. Big Bill Green and his purple sweater. So who else could it be? Well, there's Big Gerry and Big Mac and Vincennes, obviously. Obviously. Vincennes. Yes.
Swami sees the final game is over.
Wow!
The final scoreboard is just a bit hazy.
Ooh!
But they're cutting down the nets.
Wow!
And the nets are being placed around the necks of the winners.
Ooh.
And it's George McGinnis and Steve Downing. Washington wins.
Who's Steve Downing?
Way to go.